So even though it is February of 2025, and I am firmly in my 2025 reading journal, I thought that I would do a little backtracking and show my 2024 reading journal. July reads, A Library is a Hospital for the Mind. Those are my boys, Remy and Poe. Poe's a tuxedo cat, though, so he needs to be a little darker. I read 5 books that month. Doctor Who, The Clockwise Man, The Woman in Me memoir by Britney Spears, The Girl in the Corn, and then the duology, which is actually a trilogy because a 3rd book is coming out this year. Surprise. Boyfriend Material and Husband Material by Alexis Hall. So my book of the month was Boyfriend Material. But really, truly, it was it's like the All of Us demise, all of our villains, Butcher, Blackbird, Lachlan, and all them. It's kind of hard to choose between the two, but Boyfriend Material was definitely one. Lucian, it's boyfriends of convenience, fake dating. Like, Lucian's trying to clean up his public image. He's the son of a rock star. Paparazzi make him out to be a fuckboy, basically. And he's like, that's not me. I want to clean up my image here. So he starts dating a lawyer who is just like, I need a boyfriend to get my parents off my back, basically. So they start dating and they end up falling in love with each other. There's a sequel. And so I really enjoyed it. I think the secondary characters, again, are really what make this book so damn good. Because while Lucian and Oliver are cool, the secondary characters and how they all play off of each other are just, exquisite. Like, Alexis Hall really has a command over dialogue and being very funny in British. And it was really good. So I do recommend these books. Clockwise Man, I've read before. I've just wanted to read it again. It's a Doctor Who. They're short and sweet, and it's like watching an episode of Doctor Who. Like, it really, truly is. The Girl in the Corn kind of sucked. I should have DNF'd it, but I powered through. And you'll see next month I tried to pick up the sequel. That was a mistake. But fantasy horror, fairies, Norse mythology. It's got such a good premise, but no. It needed a different author because he did not know what he was doing. I read the Britney Spears memoir, was deeply disappointed. People were like, oh my god, it was such a good memoir. Oh, it was so powerful. Oh, she revealed so much of her story. Yeah, she did. She also, I feel, left out a lot of stuff so that she would look like a victim. And I don't think she was telling the whole truth about a lot of things. I think she was saying things to make herself look like a victim and her family like villains. And you don't end up in a psych ward for several months because your family doesn't like you. I'm sorry, there's a medical reason. And I feel like she should have waited a few more years after the court trial before she wrote this memoir. I felt like she rushed into this because she needed more time to do retrospection on her life before she wrote this thing. And it felt like a money grab and not the truth, not the whole truth. August. I have lived 1,000 lives and I've loved 1,000 loves. I've walked on distant worlds and seen the end of time because I read George R.R. Martin. There's Poe. Anyway. I read 8 books this month. It Ends With Us. It Starts With Us. Bury Your Gaze. Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. The House That Horror Built. Pink Slime. Gothicana. And The Boy from Two Worlds. I should have DNF'd this one, but I didn't because the book was so pretty. Like, they put so much effort into the publishing of this book and the material just sucked. It was so bad. I was like, this book is so pretty though. But anyway, it just goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. My book of the month was It Ends With Us. But again, it was kind of like It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us. Let's lump them together because they were both very good together. I liked this book. Say what you will about the film and the people who are in it and the legal battle that they are in right now, but the book itself was good. I liked the book more than the movie. The movie, I feel, downplayed the violence. I did not feel like her life was in danger in the film, whereas in the book, I felt like her life was in danger. I felt the suspense and the threat, and I liked the book more. Like, it just, yeah. But really, truly, if you watch the film, you'll get the book. Like, it it translated very well. It just did not feel as urgent or suspenseful to me. But I liked it. They were good books. I got invested in the characters. There were some quotes and turns of phrases that Colleen Hoover did that I just thought, damn, that was a good line there, girl. So yeah, some people call her a bubblegum writer. They think that she's nothing, but she obviously knows something because she's making lots of money. So this was the sequel to The Girl in the Corn. Like I said, I should have DNF'd the first one, but I just powered through it and wanted to know what happened. And, well, I couldn't make myself power through this one. Goodbye. Gothicana was such a beautiful book. The publishing, the everything was so beautiful. But it sucked. It was so weak. Very bad book. Very raunchy and vulgar spice adult scenes. They were gross. They were very out of character for the characters. It was, they were not good. I felt embarrassed reading them. Like, you know what I mean? No, that was not a good book. Like, and it was weak, and then the ending, how they portrayed mental illness was just very questionable and not appropriate, and just no. If you want a pretty book on your bookshelf, by all means, stick that beautiful book on your bookshelf, but don't read it. Like, The House That Horror Built, Christina Henry, excellent book. It had a Lost Boys reference, so it always wins. But it's basically this woman is a maid for this horror director who's kind of like a William Castle, Vincent Price, George Romero type, John Carpenter type film director. And so his house was full of all the horror movie film props and things, and some real ghosts apparently that go bump in the night. And so it was good. If you're like a horror movie junkie and you like that kind of stuff, the allusions that they made to horror movies and TV shows were just, they were good. Like, little Easter eggs in there that if you're into those kind of movies and stuff, that you find that you're just like, oh, this actor is supposed to be like this actor. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Bury Your Gaze. Oh, that was a heavy one. And it wasn't supposed to be, I don't think. But it's basically like, how do I do this without spoiling it? It was a commentary on the film and TV industry and how it exploits certain demographics of people without understanding that demographic of people. Yeah, that's how I'm going to put it. I would recommend reading it, definitely. I thought it was interesting. I thought that I got very invested in the lead character. Some of the horror, scary elements were a little confusing to figure out, like, what is going on here? I don't quite get this. So you kind of have to, there was a little bit of a hole there in the logic. That's why it got dinged with logic. Because it didn't, how the bad things, the villains, the antagonists, how that worked was not explained well, I don't think. At least not for me. Yeah. Pink slime. There's a bunny. Pink slime is an end of the world. Basically, an algae has polluted the air so badly that people are hiding in their houses. They end up, if you get exposed too much to it, you basically melt slowly. You like rot living. It's terrible. Very end of the world-esque. And this one girl, she is kind of like holding out and scavenging and trying to make it work. Very Walking Dead-esque survivors. But there was this one scene, it was very, how do I put this? It was thought-provoking, but there was like this emptiness, this hopelessness, this sadness in the lead character that just, I don't know, it was so bleak, very bleak. There was a memory about a rabbit that I felt like they did not need to have that memory in there. I can't stand animal cruelty in books. I can't. And it came out of nowhere. So if you got a problem with animal cruelty, there is one scene about a rabbit. The minute you start reading about a rabbit, just skip like 4 pages. Just skip them. Just skip. Go to the next chapter. You don't need it. Okay? But the rest of the book was very good. Very thought-provoking. Post-apocalyptic stuff. Oh, Matthew Perry. Okay, so I read the memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. I thought he did such a good job with this memoir. He was very honest. He was very critical of himself and owned his mistakes. He had this very retrospective voice. He made connections. Okay, my actions led to this. If I had done this differently, this would not have happened. He owned up to my actions. I didn't see in the time how they were hurting my mother. Like he was brutal and honest, very different than Britney Spears. You could tell he has done the work to get to a healthy space in life. However, it didn't save him in the end. And I think that you get while you're reading this, why? Because I did. As much as he learned about himself, about alcoholism, about drugs, he even says it in here, it's a disease that you can't escape. And it was heartbreaking. This was just exquisite, very well done memoir. Some parts of it were very ironic and eerie because of things he talked about. He talked about what would happen if he died, what he wanted to happen. It was something. It was a very good memoir. I highly recommend. September. A book is a dream that you hold in your hands. Neil Gaiman, another brilliant mind, brilliant works, depraved mind. The Horror at Red Hook, The Ballad of Black Tom, Lone Women, In the Hour of Crows, The September House, The Hacienda, The Ghost Cat, and The Eyes Are the Best Part. I read 8 books, and they were incredible. September was a good reading month, to be honest. The Horror of Red Hook and The Ballad of Black Tom. You have to read them together. So The Horror at Red Hook is by H.P. Lovecraft. It is considered one of his most racist. Is it a novella? I think it's a novella. I think it's in the short story novella area of the world. It's very racist. It's so racist. Like, you're reading it and you're like, oh my God, does he realize how, is this just, okay, so in Dr. Taylor's literary criticism course in college, one of the tenets that he taught us was that you cannot apply modern thinking and beliefs to past literature and works. You have to look at the literature and the work in the time period to which it was written and apply their thoughts to it. You can't go back, right? But it's so hard because this, from start to finish, this thing is so racist. It's so problematic. But here's the thing. I know that H.P. Lovecraft has a history of being kind of a bigot, because in interviews and stuff, he talks about some stuff and you're like, dude, you can't say that in public. Like, you're just like, dude, no, keep that in your brain. Do not pollute the world with that. Like, don't say that. Like, we know that he has that, right? But the way this was written, I kind of wonder if he super exaggerated that to make a point with the character. Does that make sense? Because I'm wondering how much of this problematic stuff about race, etc., is the character, not H.P. Lovecraft. You know what I mean? Like, it just... I wish I would have read this in college with like my professors, and we'd like actually hash this out in a class in like a Socratic seminar, and like, please, I need more context. I need someone else to analyze this with me to talk about it. So moving on from the horror Red Hook, because like literally I could talk about this forever because I'm trying to understand it. But the Ballad of Black Tom, Victor Laval, he wrote this as a response to this. So this was written back in, I want to say 1920s. I can't remember. Hold on. It was written, year published, 1920s, right? So he comes in the, last, I think this was 2020 or something, and writes the Ballad of Black Tom. And this was supposed to be a fix-it novella, basically, told from the point of view of Black Tom. It's Harlem Renaissance, story, same subject matter of cult trying to open up doorway to the old ones, let in Cthulhu, etc. Except it is supposed to have examined racism and confronted it, and confronted all of the problematic things of the original short story, and kind of like did a fix-it novel, right? Only problem, Eric Laval is not the best writer in the world. And I just, there were holes in this book. There were holes in this book. There were holes in this book. And I just can't get past them. Like, the ending was cool. I really liked how Black Tom, he talked about how he lost his soul. And I thought that was, and he kind of disappeared into nothing. And you don't exactly know what happened to him. You know that he got changed. Is he now a demon? Like, what's going on here? Like, the discussion on police brutality was important. I feel like it tried to do what it set out to do. It just fell a little short. I feel like it needed to be a longer book, and it needed to really flesh out these characters better. Victor Laval has a problem with this. He makes characters that are good, but he doesn't complete them. They're not fully fleshed out. How do I know this? Because I read Lone Women by Victor Laval right after that one, and everything was kind of confirmed in it. So, lead character, she moves out to the frontier. She brings with her a mysterious trunk. When the trunk opens, all hell breaks loose. People die, maimed. It's scary, scary, whatever is being kept in that trunk. He reveals what's in the trunk on page 70. And then you got about 200 and some 300 pages more. And it's like, really? You don't show them the 50-foot bug until the end. I mean, Stephen King had this whole thing in Dance Macabre about it, that it's scarier when you don't know what the monster looks like, because your brain is going to make something even scarier than what reality is. So you don't show them the 50-foot bug until the end. It is far scarier to see the doorknob jangle than it is to see the monster on the other side that's trying to open the door. So Victor Laval, he blew it. He showed what was in the box on like page 70. It ruined it for me. The horror aspect was ruined. Then he had some other interesting themes going on about race, being a woman, religion. It was a kitchen, everything in the kitchen sink in the soup, basically, story. And nothing was fully done all the way. It's like, ooh, let's talk about religious zealots, but let's not really show why. You know, how did they get twisted to being a zealot? Let's not go all the way. Oh, let's have these two characters be lesbians. But let's not explore what that means as in this 1800s frontier. Let's not, like, we'll just make them lesbians. Like, why? Like, why are you doing this big, like, subject, but not following through with it? Not showing anything to do with it. But basically, it was just a letdown. It truly was. I felt like some of the things, like the lesbian couple, was just exploited. Like, why? Like, and then the whole religious zealots at the end, like, were you going for some kind of biblical illusion that you just did not put enough energy into developing, so we didn't quite get the illusion? Like, some people tout that this is such an awesome book. It's not. It's not. What was an awesome book was my favorite book of the month, which was In the Hour of Crows, which, if you like Charmed, if you like True Blood, if you like a good Southern Gothic, like, this was right up your alley. Like, it definitely was up mine. Basically, a girl, she is a sin eater. She can basically, they call them death talkers or whatever, but she can take death away from someone. So if someone's on their deathbed dying, she can take their death into herself, and then she spits up sin eater oil, which can be poison. And so there's this whole mystery, family secrets. Like, oh, it was good. It was a good one. Like I said, it was very much like Charmed met True Blood. It was very good. Then we had September House, which was just fantastic. Like, hands down, one of the best horror books of the year, definitely. Highly recommend. Basically a ghost house. Every September, it goes batshit crazy, and the walls start bleeding, and this woman's husband goes missing. But just like Earl in Goodbye Earl, he was a missing person who nobody missed at all. And except his daughter's like, Mom, Dad went missing and you didn't report him missing. What the hell? And so the daughter comes into town to figure out what happened to her father in September when the house goes crazy. So it was a good book. Very good book. Hacienda, she was hot for Preacher. So another haunted house. I got really into haunted houses and ghosts there last fall. But it's very much in the vein of like Rebecca. If you've read Rebecca, it's that kind of gothic story. But it's set in Mexico after the Mexican Independence War on this hacienda. Very cool. New wife joins this house. Sister-in-law doesn't like her. Obviously, sister-in-law likes being, ruling the roost. And then here comes this little young thing. Spooky ghosts, hot preacher. Like, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. The Ghost Cat was very British. It was about a cat who... So there's like a cat god or something who grants a cat their 9 lives. Only the god got late, I guess. He got delayed. And so Grimelkin did not get his 9 lives. So the cat god said, look, I will make you a ghost cat so that you can have your 9 lives. For 3, you play. For 3, you stray. And for 3, you'll stay. So he basically gets to see history unfold from like Victorian age to present day. And oh, it was so good. And oh, it was such a good little story. Like, it really truly was very wholesome and sad. Like I said, his beloved Ely, his owner, you know, she was young when he was alive, but, you know, he gets to grow old. She grows old and he watches her grow old. And oh, it was so sad. Like, it was, oh, it was a good, I'm going to make myself cry just thinking about it. It was such a good book. The eyes are the best part. Whew. Female rage. Just, if you are into like female rage, if you are like reading feminist theory, if you just, oh my God, this book. So this girl, her parents are divorcing. She's very angry with her father for leaving her mother. And she's in college. She's in her 20s. She's got a younger sister. So you have a lot of Asian culture and marriage and divorce and stuff in Asian culture. Then her mother starts dating. Her mother starts dating a white dude. And he is like a magma Trumper asshole. And then there's just so much female rage in this book. And yes, the eyes are the best part. She eats eyeballs, this girl. That's how, like, she becomes like a serial killer, and to get her rage out at her mother's new boyfriend. And it just, there is body horror, but this book, brilliant. If there is a women's gender studies class, they need to read this book. Like, it's just masterful in how it talks about feminism and being female and male superiority, machismo, like just toxic masculinity, and just women having to put up with that shit. And it just, she doesn't, she eats them. Like, it's a book. Like, it's short. I recommend.